Alright, so real talk. Have you noticed gas prices going absolutely insane lately? Like you pull up to the pump and you suddenly see that it costs an extra 20 bucks just to fill up the same tank that you've been filling up for years? Well guys, there's a very specific reason for all of that, and it all traces back down to one event that happened exactly just about a month ago on February 28th. But guys, before I dive into it, in case you're new around here, my name is Nima and welcome to the channel. I've been a corporate executive with over 15 years of experience in both sales and finance. My videos break down complex financial concepts to help you on your financial journey, whether you're just starting out or if you're already a seasoned pro. So guys, let's jump into today's topic, which is why this oil spike could hit your money hard. So, let's not waste any time, let's go ahead and begin. Guys, the United States and Israel launched military strikes on Iran in an operation called Operation Epic Fury. And that single moment sent shockwaves through the entire global economy. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, that's a war thing, and what does that have to do with me? But guys, stick with me here because it has everything to do with you. This is one of those moments that's critical right now where everything is connected. And once you understand how it all fits together, you're going to see the world a little bit differently. So, here's the most important thing that you're going to take away from this video and that you need to understand before anything else. There's a tiny strip of water in the Middle East called the Strait of Hormuz, and it basically is the world's most critical oil highway. Just picture a narrow channel connecting the Persian Gulf where most of the world's oil comes from and it goes to the rest of the globe. About 20% of the entire world's oil passes through this strait, and right now it's essentially shut down. Iran has been attacking ships passing through it, and so companies have stopped sending their tankers through entirely. And I just want you to think about what happens if someone blocks the world's most important road. Everything that was supposed to travel on it just stops. And here's the thing, there's no quick backup plan here. Ships that reroute around the southern tip of Africa take way longer and cost way more. And that extra cost gets passed along to every one of us, everyone down the line. Unlike some past oil disruptions where countries could just find alternative routes or suppliers, this one is a bit different. It's blocking the very ability of oil producers to export their product at all. The oil industry analysts are now saying that if this strait doesn't reopen within the next few weeks or months or beyond, this could escalate very sharply. And even if it does reopen soon, enough damage may have already been done to keep prices elevated for a long time even after the fact. So now let's get to the part that's actually hitting your family, the gas prices. Guys, the national average at the pump has shot up to nearly $4 a gallon, which is a full dollar higher than just even 1 month ago. And analysts are saying that it's going to get worse before it actually gets better. Oil prices have surged more than 40% since the war began, and the conflict continues through the summer. Some forecasters are warning we could see oil reach prices that have never even been recorded in history. That would mean that gas prices could potentially double from where they are right now. And that is not a small number for working families trying to get through the month. But here's what most people don't think about. It's not just that the gas pump takes the hit. Diesel prices have also spiked hard. And diesel is what powers every single truck that carries food and products to your local grocery store and shopping center. When trucking costs more, businesses don't just eat that cost and move on. They pass it directly on to you and I at the checkout line. It typically takes about 6 weeks for an oil price spike to fully show up in grocery store prices so that the pain that you're feeling at the pump today is going to show up on your grocery bill very soon. The US Postal Service has already started adding extra fees on some packages. Airlines are raising ticket prices because jet fuel is made from oil, and fuel charges are popping up across some industries. I've even had some friends that are currently in school right now that have found out that their tuition price is going to increase by 5%. Guys, some economists have already come out and said flat out that higher gas prices like this are in the short term recessionary, meaning that they can actually push the entire economy into a slowdown. But guys, before I dive into more of why this oil spike could hit your money hard, if you're gaining any value from this video already, I'd really appreciate it if you could smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe. Your support really helps this channel grow, so please show some love by smashing that like button, commenting down below, and subscribing. Alright guys, now let's discuss the next segment. Now I want to talk to you about the stock market because the numbers this week have been genuinely ugly. All three of the major indexes, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones, they all finished the week lower, and this marks 6 straight weeks of losses, which is the longest losing streak in almost about 4 years. Both the Nasdaq and the Dow have now officially entered what's called correction territory, which just means that they've dropped at least 10% from their recent peaks. And guys, that is a very big deal. The biggest tech companies, which had been propping up the market for years, are absolutely getting hammered right now. The only things actually going up are oil stocks, defense company stocks, and gold. And when gold is the hot investment, that tells you that investors are scared. Think of gold like the financial world's security blanket. People run to it when everything else feels uncertain. Consumer confidence, which is basically a measurement of how good or bad everyday Americans feel about the economy, just dropped to its lowest number since December. Middle and higher income families are actually feeling the biggest drops, which is significant because those are typically the groups that keep spending in the economy. Mortgage rates have even spiked back up to nearly 6.4% for a 30-year loan, erasing months of progress that had been giving hopeful homebuyers a reason to get back into the market. The bottom line is, guys, that investors, homebuyers, and everyday consumers are pulling back at the same time, and when that happens all at once, it can snowball real fast. Now, here's one of the wildest parts of this whole story, and it honestly almost feels unreal. The way financial markets are reacting to every single thing that gets posted or said about this war. Seriously, the stock market has basically become a live reaction machine to every statement coming out of Washington and Tehran. Earlier this week, Trump posted online that talks with Iran were going very well, and then within minutes, the Dow Jones futures surged over 600 points, just off of a single social media post, before anyone even verified it was true. But then Iran's government publicly came out and said that they were not in direct talks with the US and had nothing to say about it. And then markets tanked right back down again almost immediately. There's also a wild story circulating this week where hundreds of millions of dollars in bets on failing oil prices were reportedly placed just minutes before Trump made a public statement about pausing attacks. And now people are calling for investigations into possible insider trading, which is when someone trades on secret information they weren't supposed to have in the first place. Trump has also extended this deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by another 10 days, pushing things to around April 6th, with the White House saying that the talks are ongoing. But the physical reality on the ground, ships are not moving, oil is not flowing, and it's really hard just to talk your way out of it. Guys, every single tweet, every denial, every new deadline is sending markets on a roller coaster. And that uncertainty itself is one of the biggest reasons why stocks keep falling week after week. Investors absolutely hate not knowing what's coming next, and right now, nobody does. Now, I will mention something that really doesn't get talked about enough. This isn't just an American problem, not even close. This war is shaking economies all over the world all at the same time, and the ripple effects are genuinely hard to wrap your head around. At least 85 countries have already reported increases in gas prices since the strikes on February 28th, with some nations seeing price jumps of 30, 50, and even 70% in just 1 month. Stock markets in Europe, Asia, and Australia have all taken hits significantly, and airline travel is getting crushed globally because of jet fuel and how it's made from oil. Carriers everywhere are raising ticket prices and cutting routes. Fertilizer prices are also expected to spike, which might sound random, but the Gulf region produces nearly half of the world's sulfur, which is a key ingredient in making fertilizer, meaning this war could eventually raise the price of food that gets thrown right out here in America. The major international economic organizations have already come out this week warning that if this conflict drags on, it poses a serious inflationary risk to the entire global economy, meaning prices could keep rising everywhere for a long time. The US inflation rate, which had been slowly cooling down over the past couple of years, is now projected to shoot up back significantly above where it was all of last year. Small businesses are feeling it too. Owners across the country are dealing with the combined pressure of tariff uncertainty from earlier this year, now stacked directly on top of a full-blown energy crisis. The world is deeply interconnected, guys, and when a key piece of the global energy system breaks down, that pain doesn't just stay in one place. It spreads like a wave across every economy on Earth. So guys, I leave you with this. Here's the big question that everyone is asking right now. When does this end, and how bad could it actually get? The honest answer is that nobody really knows. And that uncertainty alone is one of the biggest reasons markets keep dropping. The next couple of weeks are genuinely pivotal. Analysts are saying that there's roughly a 1 to 3 week window before the stopgap measures currently holding things together start losing their effectiveness. And after that, there will be very little that governments can do to stop prices from rising even more dramatically. The Federal Reserve has already left interest rates unchanged, and Trump publicly calls for cuts because cutting rates right now could pour fuel on an already serious inflation fire. It's a really tough spot to be in. If oil stays at current prices or goes higher for the next several months, economists are warning it could cancel out all of the economic benefits from the tax cuts and other stimuluses that were supposed to power the economy this year. The key thing to watch is whether the Strait of Hormuz opens again and whether any real verifiable negotiations between the US and Iran can actually gain traction in the next few weeks. If it reopens, markets could bounce back surprisingly fast. Investors are clearly ready to rally the moment that there's genuine good news as well. But if it stays shut, we could be looking at oil prices that make today's numbers look cheap and an economy that looks very different by the time summer rolls around this year. I'm going to be watching this every single day and keeping you updated right here on this channel. So guys, please make sure that you subscribe. Don't miss out on any of the content that I'm about to put out. Drop a comment down below too as well and tell me, how is this hitting you personally right now? Are you feeling it at the pump, at the grocery store, or somewhere else? Please, I really appreciate your feedback, and I comment to every single comment that I receive. I really appreciate you watching this video all the way through, and I'll see you guys in the next video.